Hey guys, I'm Dawson Weidrich and welcome to another edition of Nerdy in Many Ways. I hope you guys are having a fantastic day. It is October 4th, 2019, which is of course the release date of Joaquin Phoenix's Joker film. And I'm really stoked for it. I'm going to see it tonight and I'll have a review of it up within the next day or two. And again, I'm just really stoked for this film because it's highly touted and I'm just extremely excited. So in preparation for this movie, I decided to go and rewatch the first true character adaptation of the Joker on the silver screen, of course, being Jack Nicholson in Batman 1989, also starring Michael Keaton. And so I'm going to be talking about a lot of spoilers in this film. And so if you, for some reason, have not seen it within the past 30 years, I suggest you, of course, like and subscribe on your way out. But make sure to click out of the video, go watch the movie, because, like, what have you been waiting for? And then come back and check out this video. And I'm going to be talking about some things that I liked and disliked about the film. Overall, I loved the movie. I feel like it was a great way for Batman to be truly introduced to the silver screen and to kick off a lot of great interpretations of the Batman character. And so with that, let's get to what I liked most about it. So for starters, I loved the acting. I loved the job that Jack Nicholson did with the Joker, bringing the chaotic, psychotic intelligence to life, as well as just the fun little gags that Joker has, all within the same person. And I just thought he did a great job with that. Of course, what do you expect from Jack Nicholson? He's just phenomenal overall. And of course, Michael Keaton did a great job. There are some things I didn't like, but I'll mention that in the later part of this video. But overall, I feel like he captured the dark, brooding manner of Bruce Wayne in Batman, and just did a really great job of, also in his fight scenes. I mean, watching fight scenes in Batman 1989, to me, is actually more entertaining than watching the fight scenes in the Dark Knight trilogy, because Michael Keaton's Batman has more fluid fighting movements, he's got a cooler use of his gadgets.
Just get those wonderful toys.
And I just feel like the intimidation factor of Michael Keaton's Batman is that much higher than Christian Bale's was. No disrespect to Christian Bale, the Dark Knight movies, but that's just my opinion. And then the next thing I really liked, and I totally forgot about, was, of course, the Batmobile. Well, I guess not that the Batmobile was in it, but some of the things that the Batmobile did. Specifically, the armor that the Batmobile has whenever Batman leaves it somewhere in Gotham City. He'll, of course, speak into a little remote, and then the armor will go over the Batmobile, which, if you ask me, for 1989 standards, the graphics for that was really awesome. I thought they did a really great job pulling that off, and it just looked really cool. Of course, that Batmobile set the tone for Batmobiles for years to come in cartoons and movies. And another thing that I really liked was the feel of Gotham City. I feel like Tim Burton really did a phenomenal job with capturing the dark, chaotic, crime-ridden feeling that Gotham City should have. And with that, I also really liked how they handled the idea of crime having an effect on the city's infrastructure. Because if you think about it, if a city is crime-ridden, especially a big city filled with tons of people, no one's going to want to stay there. No businesses will want to stay because they're in constant threat of being either bombed or robbed. And so whenever Harvey Dent and Jim Gordon are talking about this, and they're talking about how businesses and companies are leaving, people are leaving, how the feeling in the city is really not hopeful, I feel like it was a really good touch, because I feel like not a whole lot of Batman shows or movies have touched on that. And I also really liked a bunch of Easter eggs that were in this film. Now, this film didn't have as much Easter eggs as we're used to seeing nowadays with superhero films, but there's just some small ones that I thoroughly enjoyed. For example, the Corto Maltese photographs that Vicky Vale takes with the Corto Maltese conflict.
I've seen your photographs from Corto Maltese, haven't I?
Right.
Which, of course, is a great nod to Frank Miller's Dark Knight Returns. And so just small stuff like that I thought was really cool, but they did it in a way that it wasn't like in your face, like, ha, this is going to be in the sequel. No, it was more just like, oh, this is world building. This is in the world. This is from this. Yeah, here it is. It was very nice and very well done. And so those are some of the things that I really liked. Again, overall loved the movie, but I do have some things that I have small gripes with. Now, most of these things are really nitpicky, so take these things with a grain of salt, because I still love the movie, but there's just some things that I wasn't quite fond of. And then there's another thing that I will mention at the end of the video that is not so much a gripe with me in the movie as much as it is with me and the fans of some of the people, I guess, of some of the fans of this movie. And so to start off with some nitpicking, although Michael Keaton's performance overall was great, I had a hard time with how awkward and, I guess, kind of weird and clumsy Bruce Wayne was.
Vicky Vale.
Hi. Bruce Wayne.
Are you sure?
Yeah, this time.
Especially in the first scene that he's in. I mean, he's in the party in Wayne Manor, and he has a champagne glass he's walking around with. and he almost drops it and drops other things like 5 times, and Alfred's just coming up behind him and picking things up at the last second, which has a comedic feel to it. But at the same time, that's not necessarily Batman. Like, Batman's not a clumsy guy. Like, even when he's acting like the billionaire playboy Bruce Wayne, he's not clumsy. Like, he's still a pretty smart and intelligent stand-up guy. And so that was just kind of weird for me. And then also the dinner date between Vicky Vale and Bruce Wayne, and the big dining room, and the big dining room table, they're like 15 feet away from each other. While yes, it was comedic, and yes, it was a little bit of a cute little insert into the film, it still wasn't necessarily Bruce Wayne to me. It was just kind of strange. It was just really awkward, especially the fact that ended up being something that helps him to have a one-night stand, basically. It was just kind of weird. Like, the super awkward 15 feet away date just ended up like that. It's kind of strange. But overall, again, Michael Keaton did a great job. And then speaking of Vicky Vale, I have to point out Vicky Vale's dance with the Joker, because in the last scene, Batman and Joker are facing off in this big old church, and especially in the bell tower, and you see the Joker dancing with Vicky Vale in just his classic chaotic and psychopathic way. And when you first see Vicky Vale dancing with Joker, it looks like she's unconscious because she's like super limp, like a rag doll. But if you look long enough, you'll realize she looks over at Batman and she's not unconscious. She's just really limp for like no reason. I mean, yes, you can argue that maybe she's fainting over and over again in the arms of the Joker, but if it were me and now we're being forced to dance with a psychotic maniac, I would try to be like pushing away or be like really stiff. But no, she's just like lounging around like a rag doll, which is kind of strange to me, and it made me laugh a little bit. I was like,
why would you do that? Why would you do any of that?
Again, very nitpicky stuff, but I just thought it was interesting. This last one, again, is not so much a gripe with me in the movie as much as it is with me and some of the fans of this film. Now, over the years, there have been different actors to don the cape and cowl, right? Of course, there's been Michael Keaton, Val Kilmer, George Clooney, Christian Bale, Ben Affleck, and now soon to be Robert Pattinson. And there's a weird classification for each Batman. Like, for example, Michael Keaton's considered the original, then Val Kilmer's considered the underrated one, which I can agree with. George Clooney is just the clown that shouldn't have ever been in the Batsuit. Christian Bale is like the Marine in the Batsuit. And then they call Ben Affleck's Batman the straight-up murderer. And who knows, maybe Robert Pattinson's Batman will be called the Twinkle Batman. Who knows? But my gripe with the whole Ben Affleck murderer classification is that many people who call Ben Affleck's Batman a murderer are Michael Keaton Batman fans. Now, many of you know that I'm a huge Batman vs Superman supporter and Batfleck supporter, because I just love the job that he did. And so I see all these things where there's fans of the Michael Keaton Batman who will like rag all day on Ben Affleck's Batman of being a straight-up murderer. Well, I'm sorry, Michael Keaton Batman fans, but you really have no ground to stand on with that, because if you really look at, you don't even really have to look that hard in Batman 1989 to see that Michael Keaton's Batman kills quite a few people. In fact, he might actually have killed more people than Ben Affleck's Batman did. Which again, I have no huge problem with, because there's many different interpretations of the Batman. Yes, there's some, and a lot of them are people that really like, are the ones where he has the one rule of no killing, but he has killed in comics and movies in the past, so it's not a huge deal to me. But it's the argument itself. Now, when people who are Michael Keaton Batman fans say, oh, Batman doesn't kill, but then they love Michael Keaton's Batman, is really hypocritical. And specifically talking about this one scene in Batman 1989, where there's Joker goons held up in Axis Chemicals, which is where Joker became the Joker, and Batman has the Batmobile drive into Axis Chemicals, and while it's surrounded by Joker goons, the Batmobile drops these spheres out of its wheels onto the ground, and then you see from afar that the factory explodes. And so, basically, Michael Keaton's Batman bombed like 19 people. That's 19 people in one explosion that Michael Keaton kills alone. And then you look at the parade that the Joker holds, and the Batwing comes in and he shoots like 6 Joker goons, presumably killing them. So that's around like 24, 25 people that Batman kills in this movie alone. And so if you have a problem with Batman killing people in, say, Batman v Superman, then you should also have a problem with him killing people in Michael Keaton's Batman. And in fact, you should have a problem with all the movies as a whole, because every single iteration of Batman on the silver screen has killed someone a time or two. In fact, Christian Bale, I think there was a kill count that counted that he killed like 37 people in his trilogy. And so, again, if you're one of those people that say, oh, Batman doesn't kill, then you're going to be one unhappy camper, because there's no Batman movie out there where he hasn't killed somebody. And so that's my review of Batman in 1989, and also my little rant about Batman killing. Should he not? I'm on the I guess the little cusp that I don't really care. I mean, you can go either way, and it's fine by me. But let me know in the comment section down below what your thoughts are about that. And again, I'm so stoked for the Joker movie. I'll have a review for you guys in the next day or two. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Make sure to check out all my different other videos of comic book stuff as well as comic book movies. And with that, I'll see you guys next time.